show begins in just a minute, kids. Be ready to have some fun. That's all I got to say. Hello, Sarah and Phil and Mary and Sherry. Give me 1 minute. All right, here we go. And welcome to the show. It is Rob Carson's What in the World, and again, this is a perfect time to call it What in the World, because honestly, that's what I ask every single day. Pardon the appearance, I really need a haircut, okay? I just really freaking need a haircut, and I just ate spicy food, so my face is a little flushed. Anyway, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. It looks like we already have some people lined up for the show, and we do have some really good things to say about the coronavirus, how it's affecting us, how things are getting better, just a lot of stuff to get to. So, good evening, John. Welcome to the show. Let's get started, okay? And I want to start off with something. I'm gonna go ahead and check my sound, make sure it sounds really good, because you know I got a really awesome voice. There we go. Okay. Quote of the day to me was, and by the way, we are on Rob Carson and Rob Carson Show. Let me just double check that we are on Rob Carson Show here real quick, guys. Just want to make sure that we're on all of our platforms, Rob Carson Show and Rob Carson, and I'm able to talk to everybody who is online, because that's important. That's important. Had a delightful dinner, by the way, and the reason why my face is a little flushed, I had some of my delicious jalapenos with some barbecue chicken. So there we are. Okay, there we go. Okay, and Glenn is on Rob Carson Show. And good to have you. And Peter Moon as well. So Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, where my mom lives and my sister lives, and you know it's a nice state. Too damn cold for me, to be quite honest. Just really too damn cold for me. But other than that, a lovely state. She has really embraced constitutionalism and has basically said, listen, let's let businesses decide if they want to open. Let's let individuals decide if they want to attend those businesses. And those people who are not attending those businesses, if you don't, feel good, stay home. And here's what she said. And I want you to listen to this. Listen to what she had to say. Because I believe and have from the get-go that we have overreacted to this dramatically. I still haven't made any sense as to why this entire episode has happened. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. When you look at the death rate, when you look at the the number of people who have had it in the entire world, it is not the Black Plague. It is not the Spanish flu. It's none of these things, and it makes no damned sense whatsoever. And we looked at models from the same people who give us dire reports on climate change, and they're always false. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the show. Now, this is Kristi Noem from South Dakota. According to the state's Department of Health website, there have been 1,858 cases of coronavirus in South Dakota. 937 people have recovered. There have been 9 deaths. That's it. 62 people currently hospitalized. In total, only 111 were ever hospitalized for coronavirus in South Dakota, far less than anyone ever expected. Did you hear what I just said? In the state of South Dakota. And yes, South Dakota is not New York. I get it, okay? This is what Kristi Noem says. I think we've got maybe 60 people in the hospital right now. We have 2,500 beds set aside for COVID-19 patients, but we have only 63 in. We probably, from all of our projections and studying the science behind the virus, we won't peak until the middle of June, but we already have done much better than we had thought we would been hitting our state already. That makes no sense, by the way, that they'd peak in June. That's bullcrap. No, that's not going to happen. It's going to peak now, most places. That's way off. Anyway, she says, we have already cut our peak projections by 75%, just putting in place recommendations I asked people to do. Listen to this. Staying at home. They have practiced social distancing. They've washed their hands. Listen, they've washed their hands. They stayed home if they weren't feeling well. They called their doctors if they were. Just by doing that, we've cut hospitalizations by 75%. Now, what did I just say, kids? What did I just say? I just said by washing your hands and staying home if you don't feel well, and if you don't feel well, call your doctor. They've cut hospitalizations by 75%. Who the hell told you to do that? Your mom told you to do that, okay? Your mom frickin' told you to do that. Your grandma told your mom to do that. Your great-grandma told your grandma to do that and then told your mom, you stay at home if you don't feel well and you wash your frickin' hands and don't pick your nose and don't rub your face. Really? Frickin' genius. Duh. If you're sick, don't go to work. Really? And I speak to some, from someone who, and I have gone to work sick before. I won't be doing that anymore. But wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Stay home if you don't feel well. Call your doctor if you don't feel well. That took hospitalizations down 75%. Yeah. She said, so I've been super proud of what the people in South Dakota have done. They recognized that I wasn't going to dictate to them, that I valued their freedoms and liberties, and that I was going to let them take action on behalf of their communities and families. Un-effing real. Un-effing real. Common sense. Holy hell. What has been missing from this entire equation? Rhonda, Jeremy, Hanson, how you doing, buddy? Henry, Lenny, appreciate you joining me. I got a lot of video clips and stuff to get to. Some really fun stuff, too, by the way. Some of it not even related to coronavirus. I know, right? When we look at, in the future, what this has wrought, not only on our community, and look at, I've only got a couple viewers on my Rob Carson show page. You know why? Because I've been shadow banned by Facebook again. I've been shadow banned by Facebook again for my political views. Unbelievable. There's going to be no national spelling bee. Okay? No national spelling bee. This year's Scripps National Spelling Bee was canceled. The bee will return next year, Scripps said, but there's little comfort to the 8th graders who are missing out on their last shot to take the national stage. Scripps will not change eligibility requirements for the next bee, which is scheduled June 1st and 2nd, 2021. The bee, which began in 1925, was last canceled in 1933, or 43 to 45 because of World War II. Naveen Murali of Edison, New Jersey, says, I'm totally shattered and devastated. He would have been one of the favorites of the spelling bee. Spelling has basically been my life. For so many years, I put all my effort into the chance of winning Scripps, and this morning I found it was gone. Navneeth's father and other parents of 8th graders said Scripps should find a way to allow them to compete, either by holding a smaller invitation-only bee this year or by letting select 9th graders return in 2021. I agree, too. Hello, Marissa. How are you? Good to see you. What about all the high school graduations? What about all the proms, the senior proms? What about all of that? What have we missed? We can't even begin to calculate what this idiocy has done to the country. And I'm sorry, if you're looking at the death rate in the country, it's about the same as flu. It's showing time and time again, if we just let it be, some people will get it, most people will get it, they won't even know they had it, they will develop an immunity to it like any other virus. You've got places like, hello Sharon, you got places like Facebook. They're saying that if you say anything positive about these rallies that are demanding government open, they will ban you from Facebook. I just found out that YouTube says if you do not toe the line for the WHO, if you disagree with the mandates of the WHO, the World Health Organization that helped cover this up to cover China's ass and cost hundreds and thousands of lives around the world and infections, that if you don't toe the line and you disagree with the WHO, you will be taking off YouTube. Are you out of your effing mind? Welcome to China. Welcome to China. And my other Facebook page, Rob Carson Show, I was shadow banned. I went from getting 5, 8, 10,000 views an episode of this show to nothing. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, you can suck it. You are a little bastard. And that's why I'm moving on to other things. I landed a radio gig. I'm going to tell you about that, and then we're going to perform this show on other platforms. And it's going to get big. Netflix has picked up 16 million extra viewers. Rakes in $709 million in the first quarter. 3 times up on last year. Have you made it through Netflix? I watched the first couple of episodes of Tiger King, all right? I don't have time to watch a lot of it, and, it's interesting. It's interesting. Am I hooked on it? No. Am I hooked on anything? No, not really. Not really. I check out a lot of different things. My wife and I have been watching a little bit of, HGTV. We hang out. Again, Rob Carson's show is being completely shadow banned. But Rob Carson, this Facebook page is kicking booty. Yeah. I'm also on YouTube right now. Yeah, all right, cool. So a lot of people are watching it. Yeah. Chief of the CDC warned that there could be a second wave of coronavirus that's worse than the first, but Deborah Birx shot that down. The president did also. This is kind of nonsense. Fear-mongering that has already wrecked our economy will continue to wreck our economy. CDC Director Robert Redfield did an interview with the Washington Post. There's a possibility about the assault of the virus on our nation next winter will be actually more difficult than the one we just went through because it'll be combined with the flu. You know what? Chill the F out, you ass. Haven't you people done enough damage already? Haven't you already done enough damage already? Here's the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and he points out that Florida has been able to, despite the fact of having 2 million more people than New York, has been able to keep the deaths and infections to a remarkably low rate, even though a good share of people in Florida are older people. Here he is on Fox and Friends from yesterday.
Well, we have a great task force with people from all over the state of Florida and all the different industries, particularly small business, and we're putting together a lot of great ideas for what the next phase looks like in Florida. But, I got to give credit to the people of Florida. You go back 6 weeks, everybody, particularly in the Acela media, was saying Florida was going to be worse than New York. Obviously, we have a very elderly population. It was
Now, by the way, he says the Acela media. These are media types who ride the Acela train from Washington, D.C. to New York. That's what he's trying to say. There are a lot of people. Everything exists in the country. Everything is a big deal because of New York. New York, New York. New York did not need their beds. They did not need the ventilators that they needed. They needed some, but they didn't need all. They did not need the hospital ship. They've been caterwauling like chickens with their heads cut off, like Chicken Little, the governor of New York and the mayor of New York City, and they were wrong. They were wrong. Meanwhile, Florida takes a more steady approach.
People saying that. If you look at what's happened, that's not true. New York, for example, has about 25 times the number of fatalities of Florida, even though we have 2 million more people. Right now, as of last night, we had about 730 people statewide in the ICU. People said our hospitals were going to be overrun. We've actually increased hospital bed space and ICU bed space during the pandemic. So there were fewer beds available in Florida in February than there are now. So Florida's flattened the curve. People have done a great job, and I think we understand that you can do both. You can continue to fight COVID-19, but also get people back to work and have society function again. And
thank you very much. And you know what? I am tired of this. I'm sick and tired of not being able to get a haircut. I'm sick and tired of hearing these horrible stories about restaurant owners who may never open their doors again, that every damned effing shop in the country is shut down. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Do you know what has happened, Dave? Have you even been paying attention? Or do you have a government job? Or are you happy with an unemployment check? Bull crap. Why are we not hearing the stories of people who are being ruined by this? It's all nonsense. It is all nonsense. What did the governor of South Dakota say? Wash your hands if you don't feel good. Stay home from work and call your doctor. Protect those who seem to be vulnerable, those who are elderly. I talked to a guy who runs a large retirement community near where I live, and they have over 1,000 residents. No cases of COVID-19. Not one case. Not one death and not one case. Why? Because they keep it impeccably clean. There are a lot of retirement communities. There are a lot of these nursing homes that are hell on earth. They are. And those are the places where deaths are occurring. That's happening in Kansas City. There's one nursing home where 25 people have died. And it's because they are not exercising the responsible cleaning of the facility. Nancy Pelosi, she did that live shot with James Corden. Congress is on a 3-week vacation. Nancy Pelosi standing in front of her $30,000 either Sub-Zero or Viking refrigerator freezers, and in her freezer is dozens of $12, $13 a pint ice creams. These are gourmet ice creams. You and I would only reserve maybe for a special occasion. You and I would only, oh my God, honey, it's our anniversary. Why don't you get a pint of that ice cream that we normally can't afford? Her freezer is loaded with it. You know why? Because she's filthy effing rich. And she's a senator who insists on, House of Representatives, Speaker of the House, who insists on spending her entire life telling us how to live hers. And she appeared on this James Corden show, and James Corden is a pretty funny guy. But he just showed how ungodly out of touch this wretched, awful woman is. And the Trump campaign put together this ad, which is what I think is one of the best I have ever seen, that shows this wretched, awful, elitist, swamp-dwelling statist for what she is.
We turn now to that $350 billion fund to help small businesses and its workers get through the shutdown.
It will be up to Congress to restock it.
But Democrats blocking that move this morning.
They asked for $250 billion in 48 hours. I said, well, I don't think so. They objected, and I congratulate the Senate Democrats.
Speaker Pelosi, what are you going to share with us from your home?
Chocolate candy.
Thousands have been forced to wait for hours at food banks all across the country.
This is chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. We just got it restocked with the ice cream.
You don't want to eat up everything all at one time.
I can't do it much longer. I'm trying.
There you go. That's the average person in America. That's many people's freezers compared to her Viking range that costs more than many people make in a year, $30,000. Her Viking fridge and freezer combination. There you go. Look at that, kids. Look at that. Must have some waffles on the bottom, some eggs maybe. Yeah, nice.
So hard.
We're, shall we say, enjoying.
Having to admit that, yeah, we're starving, and
I like it better than anything else.
Taping this segment, there are 22 million people out of work.
This specific program is about stopping job losses today.
This is hurting people bad.
Other people in our family look for some other flavors, but
right now it's survival move. You don't know where that next something else is going to come from.
I don't know what I would have done if ice cream were not invented. I just wonder.
Unbelievably tone deaf. Unbelievably tone deaf. Hello, Brian. Hello, James. Hello, Amy. All right. Thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it, guys. Oh, by the way, up here, this is my T-shirt and swag line. There are several here. Hillary and 20, never. You can't coexist when someone to kill you. Chuck Fina. My wife said, what does that mean? I said, honey, change the first, letters. F China. Oh, okay. We got another one that's really funny. It says, everybody was kung flu fighting. My wife actually once won. She once won. Go to tpublic.com. Look up conservatives. They're really awesome. Brian, my friend, how are you? Good to see you. Brian is a friend who's hooking me up for a new radio gig, and we're going to kick some major booty, my friend. We are going to make some noise. Donald Trump demanded that Harvard return $8.6 million, a grant from the $2.3 trillion stimulus package. Here is the president yesterday saying, give the money back.
For Harvard, you might say.
So, Mr. Secretary, are you going to request that those other companies, because obviously Shake Shack was not alone in being a big company that got money in this, are you going to be asking?
I'm going to request.
You're going to ask them to return that money?
Yep.
Yeah,
Harvard's going to pay back the money, and they shouldn't be taking it.
Okay, and Harvard agreed to pay back the money today. Harvard has a $40 billion endowment. There's no reason why universities should have to get money because my son is still paying tuition and he's in my house. Okay? And I'm also going to tell you something else. I think that larger restaurant chains, theater chains, I think they should get money from the government because they've been forced to close by the government. And big restaurant chains employ little people. And I heard, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, they got, and they're an expensive steakhouse, and they got money from the government. And I say, hell yeah, why not? Well, what kind of business do you suppose Ruth Chris is doing curbside? Have you been to Ruth's Chris? It's very rare for me, and usually when I go to Ruth's Chris is when somebody else is paying for it. How many $50, $60, $70 steaks do you suppose they're serving curbside? They're not. They're devastated. And they're a restaurant chain. Taco Bell's kicking ass. Domino's, Papa John's, Burger King, McDonald's, they're kicking butt. But there are restaurant chains that, who cares if they're chains? They employ people. Chili's, why not? Help them out. Government's told they have to shut down. You can't go in. Where do they make most of their money? Where do they make most of their money, kids? Most of the money they make is on booze. Olive Garden. It's a sit-down restaurant. You're supposed to go into the restaurant. If the government says you got to close down, you got to help them out. What about hair salons? What about nail salons? Hell yeah. Help them out. If this is what the government's going to do, then write the damn check. Hello, Margie and Roger. Roger in Washington, D.C. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Another kind of ballsy move the president made is, and you recall the Iranian Navy, which consists of maybe 3 boats. They've been harassing Navy ships near Iran in the Persian Gulf for years. And Donald Trump tweeted this morning, I've instructed the United States Navy to shoot down and destroy any and all Iranian gunboats if they harass our ships at sea. This is a recent vote. These are like cruisers you'd see on Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri with 50 cows on the front. Blow their asses out of the water.
They're taking a bow.
And the really cool thing, the president has just given them permission to do so. Yay! Yay, Mr. President! Blow them up out of the water, out of the agua. Okay. So, Chris Cuomo, he's a CNN anchor, rather insufferable type. He has been talking about his fight with the coronavirus. He has apparently recovered. His wife has recovered. His 14-year-old son has it, and we hope and pray for his son that his son will recover from this and be fine. Okay, I'm just going to say that right up front. Chris Cuomo is a douche. All right, Chris Cuomo has been talking about the horrible virus that he's had. Chris Cuomo has been talking about having nightmares where he saw dead relatives in his room and all of this stuff. And somehow he was able to gather the strength to look good on television. Last night I hurt so bad I could barely move, but tonight I'm on CNN. Really? Really, Chris? How bad is it, buddy? How bad is your coronavirus, buddy? Well, he was banished to the basement when he had coronavirus. And apparently he said he's been down there for more than a week. Problem was he went to his other home in the Hamptons and got in an argument, an altercation with somebody who was riding by on a bike. And the guy has actually filed a police complaint with the police, obviously. So Chris left his home. He has not been in his basement, but he decided to put on this charade as he emerged from the basement. This is the first time he's done it since he lived at his parents' house through, I guess, his 20s.
All right, here it is. The official re-entry from the basement. Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Just worked out, yeah.
This is what I've been dreaming of, literally, for weeks. My wife,
No planning here at all. The cameraman I don't know what he's going to do. I'm following his every step, and obviously we've planned this out in some way, shape, or form. But no. This is all improvised.
She was cleared by the CDC. She doesn't have fever. She doesn't have the symptoms anymore. More than 7 days from her quarantine. We're still a little scared, so I'll just give you one of these. Just give you one of these. Just give you one of these.
And his son's got it now.
One of these. Bella has, of course, taken the video. This is the dream. Just to be back up here, doing normal things. Thank you for being so nice to me. Thank you.
Oh, boy. Wow. I mean, listen, I'm a dad and I appreciate it and all, but wow. Just, I mean, kind of an insufferable guy. Just a real insufferable guy. It's about me. Look at me. Me. The president has restricted immigration to the country. He says that he wants American jobs to be first. We have to recover first. Beto O'Rourke, remember he ran for president. He's that floppy one who had like the intelligence of Grover from Sesame Street and the same physical attributes. Well, anyway, he said, replying to Donald Trump's restriction of immigration, what the F do you think, who the F do you think is working on the farms and feedlots, in the packing houses and processing plants at a time where we are struggling to feed ourselves? Who is in the kitchen? Who's in the kitchen? Who is picking, preparing, serving the food we eat and cleaning up afterwards? So apparently Beto O'Rourke has a Hispanic maid, right? Who's in the kitchen? Well, I'm in the kitchen, actually. I do all the cooking, to be quite honest. Who's picking, preparing, and serving the food we eat? Well, the farmers. And who's cleaning up afterwards? Wow. How completely tone deaf. This is nearly as tone deaf as Nancy Pelosi in front of her $30,000 freezer filled with ice cream you and I can never afford. Unbelievable. Speaking of wasted money, Mike Bloomberg spent $1 billion on a failed presidential bid. He only, listen to this, he's estimated to be worth $55 billion. He won only one primary. That was the territory of American Samoa. Pocketed 55 delegates for over, $1.2 billion. That is one of the biggest wastes of money of all time. Wow. Just wow. All right, let me check on my other page that is live. That would be the Rob Carson Show page. Again, I've got several Facebook pages going live. One Rob Carson right now, and one Rob Carson Show. Rob Carson Show has been shadow banned once again by Facebook because they are communists. They are communists. And they want to control how you think, and they give you the opportunity to be a publisher, to actually do a show live, and then they take it away because they disagree with your politics. That's just how they roll. Gretchen Whitmer is the awful governor of the state of Michigan. She has been a Nazi through this entire thing, restricting how people travel. They can't go to second homes. They couldn't go anywhere for Easter. They closed down everything. You can't buy unnecessary items, things that she deems unnecessary, including seeds for your garden. You can't plant a garden. You can't work outside. You can't work as a landscaper outside. She said that the big protests that they had in Michigan, in Lansing, that people were not able to get to the hospital in ambulances. Well, apparently that was a lie. She said the blocking of cars and ambulances trying to get into Sparrow Hospital immediately endangered lives. Well, it turns out they talked to people at the hospital. They said there were no reports that ambulances were stuck in traffic further out from the hospital. None of that happened. It was all a big, fat lie, and she's a really big, fat liar. This is something that is, honestly, unbelievable. People can't go out in parks in some areas. Where I live in Johnson County, Kansas, near Kansas City, you can. There's a playground near where I live. I haven't seen any issues there. Of course, I haven't seen anybody out in it. But I believe you can still walk on trails. I believe you can take your dog to a dog park. I believe, but this isn't happening in Meridian, Ohio, or Idaho. On Tuesday, the city banned against using playground equipment at a local park, and, this woman went there with her kids to play. And the police were called for a mother playing with her kid at a city park. Let me repeat that. A mother had the police called on her for taking her little child to the park, and she was arrested.
Thought when I got here, I did. Then maybe you should stay away from us. Do you have the virus? Do you not have a mask on?
And there's the busybody who probably called police on him. He's an a-hole, You know what? If you don't want to be in the park, get the F out of the park.
Ma'am, I have told you to exit numerous times. This is it. Exit the playground area now. And I really am trying to be a nice guy for this.
Doesn't sound like a nice guy.
Because you guys aren't listening. I just told you exit the playground area.
There was a memo from police that officers saw the metal signage and caution tape announcing the playground closure due to COVID-19 was removed, and they observed numerous individuals gathered on the closed playground area. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's a frickin' playground. The kids are home from school because the schools have all been damned closed, and mom decides to take it to the only thing that they can do. They can't go to movies. They can't go to Dave and effing Buster's. They can't do a damned frickin' thing. So she just wanted to go to a park where she was going to observe social distancing, but these Nazis closed it down.
We're not trespassing. Are you going to know we're going to cite everyone for not social distancing?
Ma'am.
Are you going to?
You have 5 seconds.
Why don't you go take care of a bank robbery or a drug deal? How about that?
Arrest me for being in the park. Do it. Report it.
Okay, this is not. Officer, you don't want to do that. Officer, you don't.
You're being detained.
Am I being arrested or detained? Am I arrested or detained? Someone call Idaho Freedom Foundation right now and get them on the phone.
Call now. I'm recording. Someone else call. Okay, can you call? Her kids are here. Her kids are here. What is going to happen? Who's got her?
What an embarrassment to law enforcement. What a frigging embarrassment to law enforcement. When somebody calls and says, hey, there's some kids playing at this park. There's a mom playing with her kids in the park. You better send some officers. The police would say, you know what? Why don't you mind your effing business and let her play with her kids?
Kids. This makes no sense. Are you serious? We'll go.
And you authoritarians, well, the police put up that police tape. It's there for a reason. You know what? You're a sheep. If you agree with this, you're a frickin' sheep. You're a part of the problem. Just get on the prison car and go to the camp. All right? If you're going to fall for this, just get in the car, take your luggage, and go to the camp. Go to the internment camp, like the Democrats did in World War II. Honestly, I have no words. Another tyrannical douchebag, Bill de Blasio. He ran this ad the other day, which would allow you to rat out anonymously friends, neighbors, maybe even relatives if they weren't observing social distancing, or maybe, for God's sake, they might have a barbecue in their backyard, or maybe, for God's sake, they went to the freaking park. Here's his PSA, and I'm going to tell you how New Yorkers and others responded to it. It was really funny.
New Yorkers, you have been extraordinary at social distancing. And let me tell you, it has taken every fiber of our beings to figure out.
You'd think that somebody to get elected would have to be likable. There's nothing at all to like about this man.
How to do this because we're warm, emotional people. We're used to being close to each other.
Well, you're not.
We're used to being packed into subway cars.
And you go to the gym while the other ones, people can't.
We've had to do the exact opposite and figure out how to keep distance. It's not natural for us. It's not normal for us, but you've done it. You've done an amazing job.
Now, let me tell you how to rat out your friends.
Now, look, thank you, everyone who's done it the right way, but we still know there's some people who need to get the message. And that means sometimes making sure the enforcement is there to educate people and make clear we got to have social
and fine people and arrest people.
Distancing. So now it is easier than ever when you see a crowd, when you see a line that's not distanced, when you see a supermarket that's too crowded, anything, you can report it right away so we can get help there to fix the problem. And now it's as simple as taking a photo. All you got to do is take the photo and put the location with it, and bang, send a photo like this, and we will make sure that enforcement comes right away.
And he thinks that's okay. And he thinks that's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. All right. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Really, really do. Hello, Stephanie. Thanks for joining as well. Well, here are some of the ways that New Yorkers and others responded to it. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. F you. To those turning in your neighbors and local businesses, do the right thing. Do the right thing. That's pretty good, actually. All right, here's another one. Okay, there you go. Here's another one of the memes that was sent to the text line. There we go. We got your message. We're currently sending in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of middle fingers your way. Other things that start flooding their reporting text numbers with pics. One showed gummy candies in the shape of male genitalia, saying, eat a bag of D words for Richard. And it's hard to say which one of those people lived in New York, but basically people said, you know what, you Nazi bastard, go to hell. Yeah, and they should. Because this is not the United States of America. This is not the country as founded. This is not how it should be, should ever be. Hello, Carol, on Rob Carson's show. Thank you for joining me. Do appreciate it. By the way, speaking of New York, this is a very nice piece from Dennis Prager. According to the New York Times coronavirus report as of Sunday, April 19th, 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 35,676 COVID deaths in the United States. Of those, 18,690 were in the New York metropolitan area in 5 counties surrounding that. 52% of all deaths in America have occurred in the New York metropolitan area. Okay? What makes this statistic particularly noteworthy is that the entire death toll for 41 of the 47 states is 7,661. In other words, New York has 52% of the deaths. 41 states put together have only 21% of the deaths, and all the 48 states other than New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have less than half, 48%. Imagine that Georgia, North Carolina, 2 contiguous states that, like New York metro area, have a combined total of 21 million people, had 18,000 COVID-19 deaths, while Metro New York had 858 deaths, the same number in North Carolina and Georgia combined. Okay, so 858 in North Carolina and Georgia, okay, versus New York. I know numbers get a little bit iffy. Basically, the headline is, if half the country's deaths were in Montana, would New York shut down? No, it wouldn't. If these deaths were occurring in South Dakota, the country would not shut down. This has happened in a media bubble. In New York, all that matters is New York. I've said this from the get-go. We came through with New York on 9/11. We came through with New York in 1993 with the Twin Towers bombing. We always come through New York. Do you think New York gives a rat's ass about Iowa? Do you think New York gives a rat's ass about Montana or Arkansas or Kansas or Missouri or Louisiana? They don't give a damn. But all that matters to New York is New York. If you watch the caterwauling governor or the mayor of New York City screaming for ventilators, screaming for more hospital beds, which they never used, for a U.S. Navy hospital ship that was never used, when it was brought out of mothballs in record time, even though Rachel Maddow said it could never happen. It never was filled to capacity, only a few people on the boat. And the media said, oh, it was all because of bureaucratical snafus. No, there just weren't enough people needing treatment to go there. Okay? There have been some emergency rooms that have been overrun, but most of them haven't. There have been some states where they were fighting to keep up. They were few and far between. And there are some states, many states, like South Dakota, nothing like this, nothing that was predicted ever happened. We didn't have 2 million deaths. And then we didn't have 224,000. And then we didn't have 100,000. And now they're actually adding people to the death rolls, saying that they weren't tested conclusively, but we're going to go ahead and say they died of coronavirus anyway. That's why on, I believe it was Saturday, 3,700 deaths in New York. Sunday, down under 1,000. How does that happen? It's reporting. It's false reporting. Hello, Tim. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining me. This is what they're doing in Paris. Paris is tired of it, too. In France, yeah. Tear gas and batons were used in the northern suburb of Paris. People are tired of the heavy-handed treatment of minorities after Macron, the president of France, extended social distancing to fight COVID-19 until May 11th. Yeah. People are tired of it. Nice fireworks, a little low to the ground, but kind of cool. Kind of cool. There you go. They're tired of it too. Vive la France. Vive la France. Kansas federal judge issued a temporary restraining order Saturday against a Democrat Kansas governor's executive order limiting church gatherings to 10 people at a time. Basically said, thing called freedom of assembly and freedom of religion, they're all contained in the First Amendment. The governor said we're in the middle of an unprecedented pandemic that is no more deadly than the flu. This is not about religion. This is about a public health crisis. She added that the ruling was preliminary and she would be proactive about protecting the public during the health crisis. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt, on the other hand, supported the court's decision. Today's judicial ruling is a much-needed reminder that the Constitution is not under a stay-at-home order and the Bill of Rights cannot be quarantined. The Constitution protects our liberties, especially during times of crisis when history reveals governments too quick to sacrifice rights of the few to calm fears of the many. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Kelly, thanks for the congrats on the radio gig. I think it's going to be pretty fun. I really do appreciate it. And just something about that real quick. I have waited to get back into radio, and the really cool thing is that I proved I could live without it. And I wouldn't go back to it unless I think a really pretty good opportunity came up. And I moved my family from Washington, D.C. I had been promised by John Dickey, who was the president of Cumulus Broadcasting at the time, that I would replace Sean Hannity on WMAL in Washington, D.C. And I was planning on staying in Washington, D.C. And that promise was broken. That promise was broken. I subsequently lost my job and was unemployed in Washington, D.C. for about a year and a half looking for a talk radio job because some people in talk radio thought that because I leaped from music entertainment radio to talk radio 7 years ago that somehow I couldn't do it even though I'd been writing for Rush Limbaugh for 20 years. And I'm good at this. That said, I moved to Kansas City, Missouri with a contract. And I was let go because I made too much money. General Manager Donna Baker was the one who delivered the news, who said, hey, man, it's not about your performance. It's just, we're cutting costs. And my family endured an enormous amount of hardship because we moved across the country. We lost about a third of our belongings because of a bad moving company. They literally ran out of room in the moving truck and they left our stuff in the house. Okay? They left some of our precious belongings in our house, and it's heartbreaking still. I lost pictures, all the pictures I had of when I was in college. My wife lost all of her figurines collection, including one that she got when her brother died. And they're probably still sitting in that house. Somebody's got them on a shelf. But all my sons moving did that. That said, we arrived here. We were ready to settle in, make a new home here because we had to, because a promise was broken in Washington, D.C., and I had another promise broken here in Kansas City. And I have fought to get back in, and it has been a very difficult thing. The positive, I learned how to do this. I learned how to do this, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to return to radio on my terms. And I'm going to do more than radio. I'm going to continue to do this, which most of my radio colleagues don't know how to do because I took the time to do it. I built a studio. I became a TV podcaster. I became a radio podcaster. I built a swag line with T-shirts that are funny and politically incorrect. And there you go. That's what I've done. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Kelly. So there you go. There you go. And to Donna Baker, major whatever to you. Just a major whatever to you. Okay? All righty. Yeah, let's move. Let's move on to some fun stuff. Shall we do that? How about some fun stuff? How about taking your dog for a walk via drone? Now, this is clearly probably a stunt, right? I mean, this is a stunt. But it is kind of funny. A husky owner in Madison, Wisconsin. Caitlin and Jonathan, they like to take their dog Nika out for a walk, but, they get a little tired of it. And apparently they've got a couple of dogs, and, they decided to let the dog get walked by a drone. Maybe not a bad idea, Although a drone will not stop and pick up poop. That's the one thing, Yes, welcome to life in 2020. If you were dropped off on this planet, and thanks to the UK Daily Mail for that piece of video. If you were dropped off on the planet from 20 years ago, you'd go, what the hell? What the hell? Right? Drones being used by police. Coming up, a helicopter being used by police. All right? For some guys who were drinking on top of a building, chilling out on lawn chairs and having a couple brews. This is when puppies dream. This is in India. 54-year-old Simba, golden retriever. Debbie Banerjee of Bangalore. Yeah, there you go. Bangalore, India. This is what puppies do when they dream. There you go. Look at this. This will take your mind off coronavirus. Just dreaming. This is my wife right as she falls asleep. She starts twitching. Literally, my wife twitches like this right before she falls asleep. It's very funny. Okay, hold on. Is that a squirrel? Is that a squirrel? Is that a car? Here you go. I gotta run. That is just, honestly, come on now. Okay, enough with the puppy running. I thought I'd share that with you. I like to throw in some fun videos that might be kind of... Oh, this is funny. This is children being ingenuitive. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Ruth Pippin, Phoenix, Arizona, shocked to see her son out of his bed. Turns out they looked at the baby monitor, and tonight there's going to be a jailbreak. Yeah, here we go. Check out this these little criminals here. The daughter, of course, helping her brother escape from prison here. Look at this. I'm stuck. I can't do anything. All right, that's okay. Hey, listen, I couldn't put a file in the cake that I brought you so you could saw through the bar, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the step stool. There you go. You little. And I'm going to help you over the chair there. Uh-huh. Yeah. Life of crime certainly probably awaits these two. Here's trying to get them over there and into the chair. I do miss those days. I do miss my kids being that age. That was fun. Again, I want to remind you, tpublic.com conservatives, you can get these designs on hoodies, on tanks, on T-shirts, on whatever. Chuck Fina, Hillary and 20 Never, You Can't Coexist When We Want Someone to Kill You. About 100 designs Sam Cangelosi and I have done. But Chuck Fina is the new one. You can put on a phone case there. And if you would order that, that'd be great because we get a little piece of it. Okay? tpublic.com. Look up conservatives. Here is coming up. I've got a senator from Virginia who's trying to cook on camera and make something that even somebody starving in college wouldn't consider making. I'm going to share that very shortly. Oh, and then a TV reporter decides to do a live shot about cutting her own hair in her bathroom. Didn't realize her husband was naked in the shower behind her, and everybody in the TV audience got to see a full frontal, the old full Monty. I'm going to share that in just 1 second. Police in Stamford, Connecticut used a garbage can to corral a pig, led them on a pursuit for 45 minutes. And, I know it's a pig. Ha, it's a pig, and the police are a pig. Here's the footage of the... this is what our police officers have to do. Arrest moms at parks for taking their kids on the swing set, and then, going after pigs. There you go.
No, it could bite, but where's the garbage can? I'll distract him. Oh, you shit.
Yeah, they ended up getting the pig with a plastic container. Let's see if we can move ahead here. There you go, a little bit further. There you go. Got the piggy. This little piggy. There you go, another one from the UK Daily Mail. I love the UK Daily Mail. They have a lot of stuff, even though they're completely bombastic and left-wing with their political coverage. All right, so let's see some naked people, shall we? And it is censored, so, the children, if you are watching with the children, and I don't think you are. But anyway, here, this is a KCRA television, California news reporter Melinda Meza, correspondent for KCRA. Channel 3 in Sacramento was filing a live report about hairstyling whilst quarantined, not realizing her hubby's naked in the shower.
People definitely want access to their
That's not her. There she is. Uh-oh. See that blurry spot there? That would be her husband's, baby maker.
KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, KCRA.
She is brave.
Yeah, she is brave. And her husband is, let's just say maybe he had to say we were using cold water. Yeah. They've been married since 2004. One Twitter user said, "Oh my God, please let that not be her husband." Another one said, "Damn, why she want to work when she's got all that at home?" Another user was more worried about the segment being viewed by her husband. Hope her husband doesn't see this. Well, I'm sure her husband has seen it. This is funny. A couple more stories here before I depart. And I want to thank all of you for joining me. And if you would, please share on social media. This is Senator Mark Warner. I met Mark a couple years ago when I was in Washington, D.C. We did a fundraiser. And nice enough guy, Democrat. He's a nut job. Democrat. His politics are messed up. But here he is, left the internet in a state of shock when he created his famous, I guess it's famous, and some people, I got some good food, like my guacamole is called guacabages. It's famous. It's really good. But his tuna melt ain't going to be famous.
Hi, Virginia Senator Mark Warner here. I know during the period of coronavirus, it's a challenging time for all of us. I've seen a number of the folks I work with.
Yeah, not exactly Nancy Pelosi's kitchen. Let's move forward to the tuna melt here.
Cheese, and we need good old-fashioned tuna.
Okay, can of tuna.
Let's get at it, all right?
White bread.
First of all, 2 pieces of bread.
Okay, bread. This is his famous tuna melt. Watch this.
Open up the mayonnaise.
He soaks it with mayonnaise.
I love mayo. I know my kids hate mayo, but make sure you get
oh dear God.
On both sides.
Oh dear God in heaven.
Next comes the
open the tuna.
Part. The tuna.
Yeah, you could have prepared this ahead of time there, Mark.
And my personal preference is chicken of the sea.
Chicken of the sea. There you go. He didn't even drain it. That's just going to be a mess. This is even when I was in college, I wouldn't have eaten this. And I had nothing. I had no money at all.
Keeping up. You can pause because the placement of the tuna is very important.
Yeah, my daughters won't eat them anymore. My staff tried to stop me from sharing this quarantine delicacy with the world, the senator said on Instagram.
2 slices.
Yeah, 2 slices of cheese on there.
Put this on the
2 slices of cheese on there. Oh, dear God.
You need a heating device. I'm going with the MVP5. And
that's a really crappy old microwave. Again, this is not Nancy Pelosi's kitchen. He is not spending his money on a designer kitchen, I'll tell you that.
30 seconds. Enough time to
30 seconds. There we go.
Try off nice.
There's his tuna melt. Let's look at this god-awful creation.
See? You can whip up this favorite in virtually no time. Now, I can't get my wife and kids to eat these anymore.
Yeah, because they're terrible. Because it's frickin' mayonnaise and non-drained tuna on white bread with American cheese in the microwave. It's a soggy mess. What the hell? Wow. Yeah, Dave Wanamaker. Dave says, cooking lessons for Mark Warner? No, just no. I get it. This is kind of funny. An artist in, where is this? This is in Toronto. Decided to show the absurdity of social distancing with 6 feet. So created an actual social distance device and to show you how incredibly stupid it is to consider 6 feet social distancing in every direction. There you go. So this is how far you need to be away from everybody when you're walking down the street. Watch out. There you go. Get there you go. All right. Yeah, this is actually, this is like performance art that isn't stupid. But it'll give you an idea how stupid the idea of a 6 foot social distancing around you really is. Yeah. Okay. And bravo. 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 Oh, I'm going to share something, a very funny video of a guy that has kind of gone viral. He got his McDonald's. Okay. He comes home. And listen, I'm the kind of person, I like to shop. I like to provide for my family. And when I come home with McDonald's, it's a glorious time. You come home with McDonald's and the kids are there and the fries are still hot. And, well, it didn't go so well for this guy, and I'm going to share it in just 1 second. But before I do that, this is a helicopter being used in Australia. Apparently, there were some 19, 20, and 21-year-olds spotted on a rooftop of a building. They were illegally drinking and socializing. And the police actually used a helicopter to bust these guys on this building. Look, wait.
Yes, we can see you. One with a hoodie in the middle with your cold drinks. The building is surrounded by police. We need you to return to the ground floor. Return to the bottom immediately, please.
The building is surrounded by police.
Put your hand out to your right-hand side so I know you understand.
Jeez, we're just having some drinks on a building, for crying out loud. Put your hands on top of your head. Yeah. The building is surrounded by police because you're drinking beers on top of a building, and they used a police helicopter to bust you from not socially distancing on a building as a 19, 20, and 21-year-old. All right. The world has gone mad. Yeah, the world has gone mad. Finally, a viral video of a guy coming home from McDonald's, maybe a dad, I don't know, arrives with a piping hot McDonald's, had the drinks there and everything, and things didn't go as planned. Gonna have some McDonald's entry. Oh. And this is, dang it. And then he kicks the McDonald's. Now you don't kick this. No, you don't do that. Throw the drink. Okay. Yes, I get it. You don't kick the McDonald's. Hey, slam the door. That is having a bad day, kids. That is just having a bad day. But you don't kick the fries down the stairs and the burger and the quarter pound. That doesn't make any sense. That'd be like 5 seconds. It's still edible. I'm getting it. Yeah. All right, so it's time for me to go. Details forthcoming about the radio gig and where you can listen to it every day. And you can watch it too. Yeah, we're going to be doing like a kind of an MSNBC, kind of a Fox News thing. With live video of the radio program every single morning. It'll be from 5 to 8 a.m. Midwestern, East Coast time from 6 to 9. Okay? Big things are going to happen. And I've waited a long time for it. And this company that I'm going to be working for is wonderful. They're giving me the chance, and I thank them because many have not. So, have a glorious evening. Please share this on social media if you would. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, and I will be back right here. Maybe a different time, same place though. What in the world? Rob Carson's What in the World. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Good night.